You are losing more in life from your reactions than from the problems themselves. Every time you explode, defend, argue, overthink, or panic, you hand your power to the world. This audiobook is your awakening. From this moment forward, you will learn how to stay calm when others break, how to stay intentional when others get emotional, and how to stay in control when the world tries to control you. Your reactions are destroying opportunities, relationships, focus, and inner peace. And today, that ends. This is the training you never received, but always needed. Master your reactions or watch them master you. You've spent most of your life reacting, instantly, emotionally, automatically. And every time you reacted, you lost a little bit of power. You didn't notice it, but it happened. Because that's what emotional reactions do. They pull you out of control and push you into chaos. Today, that ends. Today, you learn the difference between reacting and responding. Because the difference isn't small. The difference is everything. Reacting is impulsive. Responding is intentional. Reacting is survival. Responding is strategy. Reacting is emotional. Responding is powerful. And you need to understand this. The moment you stop reacting, you start winning. You see, reacting is easy. Everyone reacts. Anyone can explode. Anyone can snap. Anyone can panic. Anyone can lash out. Reactions are primal. They're programmed. They require no awareness, no discipline, no strength. They're the default of an undisciplined mind. But responding requires awareness. Responding requires breathing. Responding requires presence. Responding requires discipline. Responding requires that you choose intention over impulse. And that is what separates the weak from the strong. Let me give you a phrase that will become a foundation for this entire audiobook. Slow is smooth. Smooth is strong. Speed ruins emotional control. Instant emotional movement is almost always the wrong movement. When you slow down, you become smoother. When you become smoother, you become stronger. And when you become stronger, you become unshakable. You've been taught to move fast. Fast decisions, fast reactions, fast replies, fast arguments. But here is the truth you were never told. Most of your fast reactions are destroying your peace, your focus, and your relationships. Think about the last argument you had. Think about the last time someone insulted you. Think about the last time something didn't go your way. The traffic, the mistake, the delay, the message you didn't like, the tone someone used, the small disrespect that triggered you. How fast did you react? Instantly. And how much did that instant cost you? Here's what people never calculate. Every emotional reaction has a price. A price you pay in energy. A price you pay in relationships. A price you pay in self-respect. A price you pay in peace. A price you pay in focus. And the price is always higher than the moment deserved. So here is the skill you must build now. The pause. The pause is your new power. The pause is your new protection. The pause is your new strategy. 10 seconds. That's all you need. 10 seconds between the trigger and your response. 10 seconds of breathing instead of breaking. 10 seconds of clarity instead of chaos. 10 seconds where you choose intention over impulse. 10 seconds where you regain your power. I'll give you real examples so you understand. Someone disrespects you. Your instinct is react, snap back, defend yourself, attack. But if you pause 10 seconds, suddenly you see the truth. Some people want a reaction because it gives them control. Your pause takes that control away. Your pause turns you from emotional prey into emotional authority. You receive unexpected criticism. Your instinct is argue, justify, prove. But in a 10-second pause, you realize something powerful. You don't need their permission to be who you are. You don't need their validation to keep growing. You don't need their approval to keep moving. You only need emotional discipline. And that is the key. Or imagine this. You face an unexpected problem. Your instinct is panic, stress, overthink. But in a 10-second pause, you shift from fear to strategy. You tell yourself, slow is smooth, smooth is strong. And suddenly the storm inside you quiets. Suddenly the problem becomes solvable. Suddenly you're thinking clearly. You have a choice, and you just chose power. Let's go deeper. Emotional reactions aren't random. They're habits. They're patterns your mind built over years. And habits don't disappear. They must be replaced. This is where the repetition begins. This is where your training starts. From now on, you will repeat this phrase whenever you feel triggered. Pause first, decide second. That is your new rule. That is your new discipline. That is your new identity. Someone who decides, not someone who reacts. Because reacting is not strength. Reacting is surrender. Reacting is giving your power away to situations, to people, to problems that don't deserve it. Responding, on the other hand, responding is mastery. Responding means you're no longer a puppet pulled by emotions. Responding means you're choosing who you want to be in every moment. Responding means you're living from intention, not insecurity. Hear this clearly. You always have a choice. You may not have control over what happens, but you always have control over how you respond. And that's the only part of the equation that matters. That's the key. That's what builds a disciplined, powerful mind. Let me give you a simple exercise. For the next 24 hours, do not react instantly to anything. Not a comment, not a message, not a disrespect, not a problem. Pause, then decide. Because the moment you pause, you break the old pattern. And the moment you break the old pattern, you start building a new identity. A stronger identity, a calmer identity, a disciplined identity, a grounded identity, an identity that does not get shaken, provoked, or manipulated. This transformation will not happen all at once. Control is a practiced skill. Mastery is repetition. Repetition creates habits. Habits create identity. And identity creates your life. You must practice the pause again and again and again.
until the pause becomes your default, until calm becomes your nature, until responding becomes automatic. That's the moment you know you've changed. You are not here to be emotional. You're here to be intentional. You are here to be in control. You are here to act from discipline, not impulse. Because it's not about removing emotions, it's about mastering them. Remember this: pause first, decide second. This one rule can save your relationships. This one rule can protect your peace. This one rule can upgrade your entire life. And now that you've learned the foundation of control, now that you've learned the power of slowing down, now that you
exaggerates danger and then tells you that you're too weak to face it. Your mind builds imaginary threats and then pushes you to react as if they're real. If you don't take command of that voice, it will dominate you. If you don't set the tone, your mind will set it for you. And it never chooses peace by default. Remember this: your mind is loud. You must be louder. Your mind is a storyteller, but it doesn't always tell the truth. It tells dramatic stories. It tells emotional stories. It tells fear-based stories. And when you're not aware of this, you fall for every story it creates. That's how emotional spirals begin. Not because life is that intense, but because your inner dialogue makes it intense. Think about your worst reactions. Not one of them came from the situation alone. They came from the story you told yourself about the situation. The story that exaggerated. The story that assumed. The story that attacked you. The story that told you, this is too much. You can't handle this. This is unfair. You need to fight back. You need to panic. That story is your real enemy. And until you learn to stop that story, you will keep losing control. That's the key. You must interrupt the inner voice that pushes you toward impulsive reactions. You must take over the conversation in your own head. Because if you don't, that voice will drag you into emotional chaos every single time. So let's break the truth down clearly. Your mind creates fake danger. Your mind exaggerates problems. Your mind fuels emotional storms. That's what it does on autopilot. But autopilot is not your identity. Autopilot is not your destiny. Autopilot is just the untrained mind doing whatever it wants. And you're here to train it. You're here to take power back. You're here to become louder than the thoughts that try to control you. And the first step is awareness. You must catch the thought before it becomes a reaction. When your mind starts spinning stories, you must identify it. You must say, there it is. You must say, this is my mind exaggerating. You must say, this is a storm, not reality. Once you see the thought clearly, it loses power. You stop being controlled by it. You start controlling it. Awareness is the first cut to the root. Awareness gives you the space to choose your response. Awareness gives you the moment you need to stay in control. That's the key. You have a choice. Now we move to the technique that changes everything. Interrupt and replace. This is the habit that will save you from emotional collapse. Interrupt means you catch the thought the moment it appears. You stop its momentum. You don't let it grow. You don't let it build a story. You don't let it spiral. You interrupt. Then you replace it. Not with empty positivity, not with fake confidence, but with one powerful question. Is this helpful? Because when your mind is creating fear, the answer is no. When your mind is exaggerating problems, the answer is no. When your mind is inventing worst-case scenarios, the answer is no. When your mind is attacking your self-worth, the answer is no. And the moment you say, this isn't helpful,
the thought loses its authority. It loses its weight. It loses its control. Because now you are the one judging the thought, not the other way around. This technique rewires your emotional system. Every time you interrupt the thought, you weaken the old reaction. Every time you replace the thought, you strengthen discipline. This is how you build emotional control. This is how you build internal toughness. This is how you break the patterns that have controlled you for years. Your mind is loud. You must be louder. Think about the last time your mind created a storm. Maybe someone didn't text you back, and your mind said they're ignoring you. Or someone criticized you, and your mind said you're failing. Or something went wrong, and your mind said this will ruin everything. None of these statements were facts. They were internal reactions disguised as truth. Imagine if in those moments you had used the technique. Interrupt, replace. Is this helpful? You would have saved the moment. You would have saved your energy. You would have saved your peace. This is the power of controlling your inner dialogue. Your inner dialogue is the director of your emotional life. If the director is chaotic, the movie will be chaotic. If the director is disciplined, the movie becomes disciplined. Your mind is not the enemy. Your lack of control is the enemy. Your automatic thoughts are not the problem. Your automatic reactions are the problem. It's not about stopping thoughts. It's about managing them. It's about answering them. It's about being louder than them. You must become the voice of reason in your own mind. You must become the calm in your own storm. You must become the leader of your own thoughts, not a follower, not a victim, not a passenger, a leader, a commander, because that is what emotional strength is built on. Every time you choose discipline over panic, you grow. Every time you choose clarity over chaos, you grow. Every time you say, this thought is not helpful, you grow. This is how you build the life you want, not by controlling the world, but by controlling the world inside your own head. Your inner dialogue will always speak, but now it will not speak alone. You will speak back. You will interrupt. You will replace. You will choose. Because your mind is loud. You must be louder. And now that you've learned how to control the voice inside your head, it's time to address something even more powerful. The voice that shapes your identity. You've taken control from others. Now take control from yourself. People watch your reactions more than they listen to your words. They study your emotional patterns. They observe what triggers you. And the moment they see what gets a rise out of you, they use it. Some do it intentionally. Some do it unconsciously. But the truth is always the same. People repeat the behavior you react to. If your reactions are big, their behavior gets bigger. If your reactions are emotional, their behavior gets bolder. If your reactions are predictable, their behavior becomes strategic. This is human psychology. This is boundary psychology. This is why your growth depends on mastering your reactions, because when you stop reacting, they stop controlling. Most people don't even realize they're being tested. They think someone's disrespect is random. They think someone's manipulation is unexpected. They think someone's attitude is just how they are. But no, people test you based on your emotional patterns. If you react strongly, they learn they can trigger you. If you react immediately, they learn they can control the moment. If you react emotionally, they learn they can shift your mood anytime they want. Your reactions become training. You teach people how to treat you by how intensely you react. And here's the part most people miss. You don't get tested because you're weak. You get tested because you're predictable.
Predictability gives other people power. Predictability gives manipulators a strategy. Predictability gives toxic people a target. And every time you overreact, you confirm the target. You confirm the weakness. You confirm what they can use next time. That's why emotional control is not optional. It's necessary. It's protection. It's power. When you stop reacting, they stop controlling. Let's break this down with real examples. Someone raises their voice. You raise yours back. Congratulations, you just taught them that yelling is the quickest way to drag you into chaos. Someone gives you silent treatment. You chase them. You explain yourself. You beg for clarity. You just taught them that withdrawal is a weapon. Someone disrespects you. You explode. You argue. You attack. You just taught them that pushing your buttons gives them emotional dominance. Someone tries to make you jealous. You show insecurity. You respond emotionally. You fall for the trap. You just taught them that your self-worth is adjustable. None of this is random. Every reaction becomes a lesson. Every lesson becomes a pattern. Every pattern becomes a cycle. This is how people learn to control you, not by force, but by provoking reactions. But here's the good news. The moment you change your reaction, you break the cycle. The moment you stay calm, you confuse the manipulator. The moment you show emotional control, you remove their leverage. Because toxic people don't know what to do with someone they
Turn off unnecessary alerts. Reduce digital clutter. Schedule focus time. Create boundaries around when you allow external input. Your reactions are only as disciplined as your environment allows. Fix the environment. Fix the reaction. Clutter is another hidden trigger. Your workspace, your home, your room. If it's messy, chaotic, disorganized, it creates internal chaos. Visual mess becomes mental mess. Every pile, every unorganized item, every distraction stimulates stress without you even noticing. Control your surroundings. Keep spaces clean. Keep spaces simple. Keep spaces calm. Because your mind will follow the environment. Your behavior will follow the cues around you. Discipline your space, and discipline becomes easier. Fix the environment. Fix the reaction. Now let's address toxic people. They are the silent triggers. They push buttons you didn't even know existed. They test patience. They provoke emotional reactions. They drain energy. And most people think, I just have to tolerate them. Wrong. You control proximity. You control access. You control exposure. Set boundaries. Limit interactions. Choose the people who elevate you, not those who drain you. Your emotional control depends on the company you keep. Fix the environment. Fix the reaction. There is a level of mental strength most people will never reach. A level where you become the person who cannot be provoked. A level where nothing penetrates your peace. Nothing hijacks your mind. Nothing pulls you into emotional chaos. This is not numbness. This is not apathy. This is mastery. This is the mindset of neutrality, detachment, and unprovoked presence. You react by choice, not by impulse. You respond with intention, not emotion. You move when you decide, not when someone pushes. That is the highest form of self-control. That is the power you build in this chapter. Most people walk through the world like exposed wires. Anything can spark them. Anything can trigger them. One comment, one delay, one inconvenience, one tone, and they explode. Not because the trigger is powerful, but because their inner world is weak. They are reactive by default. They respond to everything, so everything has power over them. But you are not here to live like that anymore. You're here to break the pattern, break the conditioning, break the identity of a reactive person. You are here to rise into someone calm, centered, controlled. Someone who cannot be provoked because they have trained themselves to be unshakable. The mindset begins with neutrality. Neutrality is not indifference. Neutrality is power. Neutrality says, I will decide what matters. Neutrality says, I will decide what deserves my energy. Neutrality says, I do not take things personally. When you adopt neutrality, you stop attaching your emotional life to external events. You stop reacting to what people say. You stop internalizing tone, mood, attitude, disrespect. You see what happened, but you do not let it define how you feel. The trigger does not become a command. It becomes information. It becomes a moment to observe, not a moment to lose control. That is neutrality. And neutrality makes you untouchable. Detachment is the next layer of strength. Detachment means you understand the difference between your world and the world around you. Other people's actions do not dictate your emotional state. Other people's chaos does not become your chaos. Other people's anger does not become your anger. You detach emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Not because you don't care, but because you care about your peace more. You refuse to join people in their storms. You refuse to drown in their drama. You refuse to lose your center just because someone else lost theirs. Detachment gives you control of your internal reality. And when you control your internal reality, no external situation can provoke you. Unprovoked presence is the final stage, the identity shift from reactive to untouchable. Unprovoked presence means you show up calm even when others expect you to break. You show up steady even when others want you to engage. You show up grounded even when the environment is unstable. You are the quiet in the chaos. You are the stillness in the noise. You are the anchor in the storm. People may yell, but you don't move. People may push, but you don't fall. People may provoke, but you don't respond on their clock. You choose when to speak. You choose when to act. You choose when to walk away. Your response becomes a strategic choice, not an emotional eruption. And this is where the identity shift becomes real. Because becoming someone who cannot be provoked is not just about behavior, it is about identity. You must see yourself as the person who stabilizes, not the person who breaks. You must see yourself as the calm force, the grounded presence, the emotional leader in the room. Your reactions become intentional because your identity becomes intentional. You no longer see yourself as reactive, sensitive, volatile, unpredictable. You see yourself as steady. You see yourself as controlled. You see yourself as the person who brings order to disorder, clarity to confusion, silence to noise. When someone tries to provoke you, you don't rise to the bait because that is not who you are anymore. When someone tries to drag you into emotional chaos, you don't join because that is not your level. When someone tries to manipulate you, you don't move because your mind is not open to their influence. You belong to yourself now, not to triggers, not to emotions, not to pressure, not to other people's expectations. You are self-governed. You are self-directed. You are self-stabilized. This is the identity shift that changes everything. People around you will feel this shift. They won't be able to provoke you the way they used to. They won't be able to manipulate you the way they used to. They won't be able to pull reactions out of you on demand. And when someone realizes they can't control your emotions, they lose their power. Your calm becomes your boundary. Your stillness becomes your shield. Your neutrality becomes your protection. And your detachment becomes your freedom. But understand something important. To become unprovoked, you must train every day. You must practice neutrality in the small moments. You must practice detachment in the quiet moments. You must practice unprovoked presence in the unexpected moments. Every time you pause instead of explode, you strengthen your identity. Every time you observe instead of react, you become more powerful. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you build the muscle of emotional sovereignty. And every time you refuse to be moved by someone's energy, you reinforce the truth you are building inside yourself. Nothing moves me unless I decide to move. Repeat that line again. Nothing moves me unless I decide to move. Say it again.
nothing moves me unless I decide to move. This is not just a phrase. This is your new internal command. This is your new standard. This is the rule you live by from now on. External noise does not move you. Emotional pressure does not move you. Provocations do not move you. You move when you choose. You react when you choose. You speak when you choose. You act when you choose. And that is what it means to become unprovoked. This is emotional sovereignty. This is mental mastery. This is the peak of self-control. And this is the identity you are stepping into today. Calm, centered, neutral, detached, unprovoked. You are no longer the person who breaks under pressure. You are the one who stabilizes the pressure. You are no longer controlled by triggers. You are the one who decides the response. You are no longer reactive. You are intentional. You are grounded. You are strong in a way most people will never understand. And from this chapter forward, you carry this truth with you everywhere you go. Nothing moves me unless I decide to move. This is your power. This is your identity. This is your new life. Everything in your life changes the moment your reactions change. Your relationships change. Your focus changes. Your peace changes. Your power changes. Because the world is not attacking you. The world is revealing you. And now you know how to stay calm when others get chaotic, how to stay grounded when others lose control, and how to stay powerful when others try to provoke you. You learned to pause. You learned to detach. You learned to choose your response instead of surrendering to impulse. You learned that peace is a decision. And you learned that the strongest person is the one who cannot be emotionally manipulated. Now it's your turn to live this. Not someday, not when life gets easier, now. From this moment forward, you are no longer controlled by reactions. You are in control. You are the calm. You are the strength. You are the standard. Your challenge? For the next 7 days, do not react emotionally to anything. Practice the pause. Protect your peace. Command your mind. Master your reactions, and you will master your life.